Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining us today to learn a little bit more about Startup Down East, which is a new program to support aspiring entrepreneurs in Washington County. During this session today, we'll talk about what the program can offer you and review eligibility requirements for startup and answer any questions that you may have about Startup Down East. So throughout the presentation today, we'll start by doing some introductions, and then we'll do a overview of Startup Down East. We'll talk about eligibility requirements more in depth. We'll do a breakdown of Startup Down East services. We'll talk a little bit about our resources and partner organizations, and then have a time at the end for questions and comments. So for introductions, my name is Jennifer Eager. I'm the student coach for Startup Down East. So I will be the main person that participants will be interfacing with, and I'll be offering participants support and guidance throughout the program. Marcia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Marcia Sloan. I'm the Director of Family Futures Down East and the Project Manager for Startup Down East. Both programs utilize student coaches to help participants succeed in college and post-secondary opportunities. I supervise all the student coaches as well as work with the administrative part of both programs.
Great, thank you, Marcia. And Denise, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Sure. Thanks, Jennifer. My name is Denise Silly. I'm the Entrepreneurship Program Director at Sunrise County Economic Council. And Jennifer and I will be working together throughout the program with participants here and there on financial literacy and self-employment and business coaching.
Thanks so much, Denise. Okay, so this slide talks a little bit more about what the Startup Down East program is. So Startup Down East is a small business pre-incubator program for Washington County residents who have an interest in pursuing small business ownership. Startup Down East is a collaborative effort among Sunrise County Economic Council, Washington County Community College, the Maine Office of Family Independence, and the Community Caring Collaborative. Startup Down East will be available to SNAP employment and training eligible Washington County residents who are enrolled or are interested in enrolling in Washington County Community College. The SNAP program also is known as the food stamp program, and we'll go over eligibility in more depth a little bit later in the slides. And finally, Startup Down East is the equal opportunity program. So this slide talks a little bit about how Startup Down East provides participants with support from the beginning of their enrollment in college all the way through job experiences and onwards through until they're ready for business ownership. So it's really a supportive program that starts with initial enrollment at WCCC and then continues to provide support until participants are ready to potentially start their own business. So if you are a SNAP ENT eligible Washington County resident who is interested in attending Washington County Community College or is already in attendance, and you're interested in starting your own business someday, then Startup Down East may be able to offer resources and support to you. Okay. So here we're talking a little bit more about the eligibility requirements for Startup Down East. So participants are required to be SNAP employment and training eligible, which again is also known as just food stamp program. Participants must be recipients of SNAP each month that they receive ENT services through Startup Down East. However, if somebody happened to temporarily lose SNAP benefits, Startup would continue to provide resources in the form of student coaching and try to help navigate either getting back onto SNAP or transitioning but during that time period, it may be possible that all resources wouldn't be available. So essentially, even if somebody was participating in startup and temporarily lost SNAP services, there would still be support network in place. So another eligibility piece is that participants cannot be receiving TANF, also known as Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, at the same time that they're enrolled in startup. But if somebody is currently receiving TANF and then finishes TANF and still meets the startup eligibility requirements, they could apply or enroll at that point. Participants must reside in Washington County. They must either be currently enrolled or interested in enrolling at Washington County Community College. And those are the pieces of eligibility. So for further questions or more specific individualized eligibility requirements or questions, then you can always, a potential participant could always directly contact me for support. And then this link is a good link that somebody could visit that has a income table, and it's fairly interactive. So it's a good resource to try to figure out whether or not you may fit the eligibility requirements if you're unsure. And again, always with questions, contacting the student coach is a good way to go. Okay, so this next area, we'll talk about the support services that Startup Downeast will offer participants. Student coaching is a big piece of the support services that folks will be receiving when they participate in Startup Downeast. So student coaching can look like academic support, financial literacy coaching, goal setting, self-employment exploration, business planning, and getting connected to a strong network of local partner organizations. And so to break that down a little bit more, academic support can look like receiving academic coaching and advice from me, the student coach, as a participant moves through their course of study at WCCC. And that can look like assistance with registration or navigating your personal program requirements and with getting connected to existing campus resources. It can look like goal setting. So all participants will set individualized goals with the student coach, and those goals will help break down the path from enrollment to school and graduation and on through entrepreneurship into small, clear steps. Financial literacy coaching looks like coaching around all aspects of business ownership. So it could be building money management skills, helping with credit recovery or building credit if needed, and essentially just coaching towards strengthening individual money habits. Job readiness and skill development includes coaching around resume development, job searching, interview skills, time management, and so on. Self-employment exploration is essentially an exploration of the benefits and challenges to self-employment versus being employed for others. And then business planning is assistance in taking someone's business goals and ideas and turning them into a tangible business plan that could be presented to a lender. So that's student coaching in a nutshell. Another big piece of the Startup Downeast program is offering participants assistance in removing barriers to attending college. So barrier removal can cover areas such as navigation, essentially the student coach will be available to help participants navigate any challenges they may come up along their path from education to entrepreneurship. Um, Assistance with transportation. So that can look like helping participants with challenges in getting to campus. So for example, Startup Downeast can offer fuel assistance for getting back and forth to campus for people. Startup Downeast can offer assistance with tuition and books. A detail about that is that participants will be expected to apply for financial aid, and most will likely qualify for Pell Grants, but the startup program can help by filling in any gaps that financial aid may not cover. And finally, it can assist with tools and technology necessary for educational programs and provide assistance with childcare. So the barrier removal piece is individualized to each participant's needs, and it can be discussed with the student coach on an ongoing basis throughout the program. So this slide highlights that Startup Downeast is partnered with Washington County Community College. So that means essentially that participants in Startup Downeast will begin their coaching and continue it through their program of choice at WCCC, and that the Startup Downeast program and student coach will be working together with WCCC to support students and assist them in directly connecting with campus resources that exist. This slide is an example of some of the programs that are available at WCCC that Startup Downeast could support students or participants who choose these topics. It's not exclusive. There may be programs at WCCC that aren't on this list that would definitely qualify if somebody was pursuing a different course of study towards business ownership, but these are some of the areas that are available. Okay, and then this slide highlights a partnership that exists between the Startup Downeast program and the Machias Valley Center for Entrepreneurship. And this slide is a little bit more in depth about what the Machias Valley Center for Entrepreneurship is. And I will go ahead and invite Denise Silly to describe the Machias Valley Center for Entrepreneurship in deeper depth.
Thanks again, Jennifer. So Machias Valley Center for Entrepreneurship is part of the entrepreneurship program at Sunrise County Economic Council, and we're very excited to be partnering with in-house partners and others to provide this program to Washington County residents and WCCC students. As far as the center itself and programming, we will offer one-on-one business coaching with students exploring their startup ideas and moving them to the next level, and just meeting them where they're at. If someone's finding that they're not super comfortable with the marketing component of their business plan, we'll focus on that. So it definitely won't be a one size fits all. It will be bringing resources together and partners to meet the students where they're at and explore their business ideas. And part of that will be access to our programs that we offer, as well as the space that's coming to Main Street later this year, early next year. This construction is still in process of planning, but the space will provide private meeting space, open co-working, technical assistance providers that can also be looped into business planning. So just a really great hub of resources, in the physical space as well as virtually for students as they work through this 2-year program.
Great, thank you so much, Denise. And then this slide, the next couple of slides are blueprints for what the physical space will be at the Machias Valley Center for Entrepreneurship. So this is the outside, and these are blueprints of what the inside space will look like and the layout, which will be available both to startup participants and other community members interested in becoming entrepreneurs. Um, this slide highlights the partners of Startup Downeast. So our partners are the Community Caring Collaborative, Washington County Community College, Sunrise County Economic Council, and the Department of Health and Human Services. So startup participants will have access to various resources and support through all of these partner organizations. And essentially that is Startup Downeast. So thank you for participating in this presentation. And if you have any questions, now's the time to ask. And again, if somebody is interested in an application to Startup Downeast or would like more information, they can always contact myself, Jennifer Eager, at this email address here. And then this address is for the Sunrise County Economic Council's Calais office, which is where the program and myself will be based out of. So if any participants have questions.
I have a question of if someone doesn't have a high school diploma, can they still apply for Startup Downeast since it's a college program?
Yes, actually they can. Thank you. That's a good question. If somebody doesn't have their high school diploma yet, Startup Downeast can begin supporting somebody if they meet all of the other eligibility requirements as they move through their high set and gain their high set, and then we can continue to offer support after that. So definitely if somebody does not yet have a high school diploma, they should still feel comfortable applying for the Startup Downeast program if the other eligibility requirements are a good fit for them.
If a person doesn't have SNAP benefits yet, would you as a coach be helping them to go through that process, or do they need to go to DHHS for that or whatever?
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. If somebody is unsure if they qualify for SNAP or not, they definitely could still reach out and ask about the Startup Downeast program. And as a student coach, I can support them in figuring out their SNAP eligibility one way or the other. And we are working closely with DHHS. So yes, essentially, if somebody is unsure of their SNAP status, they should feel free to reach out and check in with me about their eligibility.
Great.
Jennifer, I have a quick question.
Sure.
What is I know I really appreciate what you said about the individualized approach and, and helping folks get benefits and enrolled in the program. And there's not this is the exact process. And I think that's great and super helpful. I'm wondering what though is the best starting point for folks to apply? What would be their best course of action? Would that be emailing you or going to the website?
So yes, folks either could directly email me or they could go to the Startup Downeast website, which is actually not on this slide, but it is startup.org, I believe.
Is it startupdowneast.org?
Startupdowneast.org. Yeah,
Okay, great.
that would be a great starting point. And also emailing or calling is also completely fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
More information. Thank you.
An application form on the website as well?
There is a way to request an application on the website.
Okay.
There's not a full application just so that due to our eligibility requirements, we want to make sure that somebody checks in before going through taking the time to apply, if they turn out to not be eligible, just so that we're not taking up people's time unnecessarily, but definitely
Yeah, that makes sense.
apply is there. Yeah. Okay. Are there any further questions about the program?
No, but Jennifer, I just wanted to make sure people know that while your office is at the location in Calais, there's not always staff there every single day, so people should call before they come in or make an appointment, or make sure that someone's in the office before they drop by, or they can go to the Machias office of Sunrise County Economic Council at 7 Ames Way in Machias, if they're in that area, and that office is open from 8 to 5 daily.
Perfect. Thank you for pointing that out. Great. All right. Well, if there's no further questions, then thank you so much for taking the time to find out more about the Start Up Downeast program. And for questions or to apply, please feel free to reach out.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.